Good morning. Good morning. How are you today? So, I'm having the meeting from outside. I'm operating from crisis mode today, but I want to just do a reflection on our meeting that was held um, on a, sorry, that's my babies in the background. Let me find a quieter place. Yeah, so like I said, I'm operating in crisis mode. This is real life. I'm a mompreneur, so this happens. And I just wanted to show you a little bit of behind the scenes that even if you are operating crisis mode, it's important to show up. So this is the meeting today, mompreneur series on Wednesday. You are all welcome. Thank you so much to those that are always watching my Banani community. I love you. Thank you for always supporting me. Yes. So this is what crisis mode looks like. Always show up. Okay. So today we're doing a reflection on the just ended She Builds Africa event. It was an inaugural event, and for an inaugural event, it was amazing. The turnout, the participation of the people that attended was great. So thank you so much for that. Yeah. We can't bring the same on his feedback. Yeah. So yeah, today's talking about the reflection on how the event went. Yeah. So the She Builds Africa event was held at the Urban it started at 10 and everybody was there, and it's yes. So it started at 10 and then 12 was the official starting. We had a national anthem. Yeah. And after the national anthem, then we went into the activities. It was so brilliant. So the purpose of this meeting the purpose of this event was to commemorate women on Africa Freedom Day. Africa Freedom Day is so important because this sets the pace. We have to celebrate those that came before us. We have to always be aligned and learn from those that have created legacies for us. So there was even fun games. There was pick your hero in Africa, in the world, and in Zambia. So in Zambia, the person who was picked was Dr. Sunshine. She was picked because of her resilience and her ability to always see what is happening and to always pick the best. You know, she always asks, what do you really want? And when you answer the question, what do you really want? That's what then creates the opportunities that are there. That's what creates our ability to win. And in Africa, what is done in Africa is Winnie Mandela was chosen. Why she was chosen is that she was able to hold the home front. And why this is important to talk about during the Mompreneur series is that Dr. Sunshine is a mother, Winnie Mandela is a mother, Michelle Obama is a mother, and they're juggling motherhood with their ability to with their ability to hold also their businesses, their husbands as they go through. And there was another analogy that was given that there was an empress. I think that it's a movie on Netflix or a series on Netflix. There was an empress that was there, and she was so great. She would leverage on her husband's position. She would leverage on her husband's position and say that this is my husband's idea, and then the congregation, because the way she's presented, she's presented the idea as her husband's idea, they'll be more receptive to it. So most of the time, the packaging that comes in a message is very important, because then people will be more willing to listen to what it is that you are doing. And this message, the power of reflection after an event, many people have events and then they wonder why sponsors don't want to sponsor your event again. You need to do a report. You need to ensure that a report is written after the event and you send it to your sponsors. What this does is that even when they're writing their report, they're able to leverage on what it is that you've highlighted. Okay, so this is this. The next time we're going to support bigger. So let's say, for instance, they supported with a 5,000. The next time they'll support with a 50,000 or 100,000 because they've seen the impact of what you're doing. You know, you have to test the waters first. Oh, okay, what are they on about? What are they talking about? What is She Builds Africa about? She Builds Africa is about just that. She, being woman, builds Africa, being creating a legacy and leveraging on those that have come before you. Both my co-host and I, Chimwemwe, were there, and we invited our parents, and we invited our mothers, actually. We invited our mothers, and this was brilliant. This was something that created also like a succession planning, which Dr. Sunshine is always talking about. Are you aligned with your succession planning? What is it that you want, the legacy that you want to leave? And this was so great. Why? Because we actually even made the joke that my mother dressed me for the event and my daughter dressed my mother. What this did is that we were able to then create a synergy to say, oh, okay, this is real impact. And our next event, 2026, will even be bigger. And our guest of honor was none other than Miss Maureen Sumbwe. She was brilliant. She spoke about the digital platforms and how e-commerce is changing the games for women, especially mompreneurs such as myself. From the comfort of my home, I am able to conduct business on the platform, make sales, generate income that then supplements my home. Also, there's a new phenomenon lately where there's a lot of single mothers. So this platform also gives single mothers the opportunity to sell and generate income to take care of their children. This is something that is so important, because once you take care of your children, even your own peace of mind is better. We also spoke about work-life balance. Work-life balance is so integral. It's integral to ensuring that all our factors are so great. Everything that we do is for our children, especially as moms. Everything we do is for our children, to leave a legacy, to make sure that our children are well taken care of, to make sure that this is what the premise behind the event was. We wore beautiful Chitenge outfits. You can check on our page. We've created a page, She Builds Africa Facebook page. You can go there and look at the photos of the event and see how you can participate. There was a lady that came through and showcased warm clothing. We are in winter right now. So she showcased her warm clothing, which is made of Chitenge. And I'd like to mention that most of the time when there's an exhibition, it's mainly, there's not a lot of sales that happen. But for our event, it was very deliberate in that we made sure that she made a sale. One of our sponsors, ZRA, actually bought a jacket from her, and she was so happy. She actually said, no, almost every time I exhibit, there isn't a sale that happens. But this one was different because I've sold over 4 jackets just here. And this is what we talk about impact. When you go and exhibit, you want to create a sale, you want to find a client, you want to improve your business. So this is something that was so great. And this was, and I dreamed of the event. I said, please let it have this flow. Let us pray that the event has the impact that we're looking for. Let us pray that this event touches people in ways that only you, God, can allow people to be touched. Only you, God, can make sure that people take away from this event what it is that they need to take away. Networking. I've mentioned this in our previous series that we've done. Networking is so important because through networking, start forming relationships with people that you want at your next event. It's not just about the person that comes, but what does the person that comes to your event talk about your event? And this is why year on year, it's like you're pushing a boulder up a hill. You're pushing a boulder up a hill, you're pushing a boulder up a hill because you are putting in way more than you should be putting in. Why? This is because you are pushing something which you yourself have no conviction about. For me, I had the conviction and I said, Chimwemwe, let's do this. And she said, great. And we complemented each other. And that's another thing. You're not an island. Please work with someone who complements your skill set. For me, I'm a back office person. I'll do the paperwork, I'll do the reporting, I'll do all these number calculations, a mini financial report, I'll do that. And Chimwemwe was so great because she's a runner. So she was able to execute, she was able to do the marketing, she was able to do sales. And this actually was what created the impact that the event had. And I even told her that on all my events, I would like to work with you. Because what this does then is you continue with the same spirit that the event was able to bring out. This is so important. Why? 1, impact. 2, your message is delivered clearer. 3, you're able to take action and have influence, right? When you have influence and impact and significance and service all mixed up in what it is that you do, then this creates, you're able to then deliver a clearer message. So why am I saying this? It's because now She Builds Africa is going to be an annual event, and then people will know, okay, this is what their voice is, and this is how I can come in. It's easier for people to come in and support an event once your message is clear. So this is something that I want to tell everybody. Please have a clear message, have something that you believe in. And I'm going to now tell you a story about what prompted She Builds Africa, because I'm sure that's the question that a lot of people have. Why? Why did you do the event? What was the purpose of the event? Do you have like a roadmap of where you want to see this event in 5 years, in 10 years? Yes, we want She Builds Africa to become a movement. There is very little that is being done in regards to succession planning. And this is why we ensured that our mothers, both Chimwemwe's mother, her mother-in-law, and my mother were there. What this did is that they're able to see, okay, what legacy are you passing down? We're able to articulate ourselves better because of what they put into us, what they drove into us. The purpose of the meeting is then in 10 years, 15 years time, when my daughter is older, I also want her to take up the mantle of She Builds Africa. It needs to be a movement, a never-ending movement of celebration of women in Africa. What this does is that we're able to then improve the narrative and put women in leadership positions. I, for one, I have 10 years working experience. But after those 10 years, I said, okay, I want to focus on developing my family. I want to focus on being a mother. So what this did is that it forced me then to look at alternative revenue streams. It forced me to say, okay, I don't want to be in an 8 to 17 hours job. So I'm going to make sure that I'm doing business. So this sometimes comes with a few pitfalls because maybe your runway then is too short, or maybe your income then is not sufficient for the month. They are not able to pay salaries. You're not able to do this and that. But what happens is that the self-fulfillment that comes from ensuring that you're doing the correct thing is brilliant. it makes it in such a way that you are then able to articulate your voice. You're able to say, okay, for me, I'm about mompreneurs. And the people that came for the event, coincidentally, were mompreneurs. So this then, when you're telling the audience your message, they're able to then get it better because they're like, okay, yes, in a few years, I want to be able to come with my mother and my daughter. So then it becomes clear succession planning event. It becomes something where she builds Africa. She builds Africa means you are building the next generation of African women in leadership. So this creates something which you're able to hold on to and say, I want to participate in that event all the time. And you find more women that have women-centric brands can come in. Prudential was another of our sponsors, and we were hoping that Zanaco was going to come on board, but there's always next year. They can come on board next year. And we're also going to form other bank relationships. What this does is that it then presents us as a serious brand, because right now it's a brand. Chitachi Blossom Events and DG Business Zambia came together and created She Builds Africa. And this is a movement. It's a movement of women for women by women. And, you know, we can't do anything without the support of men available. Our spouses, our uncles, our fathers, they need to support the movements that women have. What this does is that then it creates, there's always a gap to say, oh, okay, movements for women, what about us men who are being left behind? No, you're not being left behind. You are, you know, there was such a big gap for such a long time that this disparity for now he for she and she for he, women becoming more leadership, women getting more into leadership positions is creating the need for then replacement of those men who are in those positions by a woman. What this is doing is that a lot of men are now complaining. And I think as opposed to complaining, they need to be more of support, in the support role. Once they're in the support role, then they notice, okay, no, there's this gap. So then it creates also more, it creates more employment. So as the She Builds Africa movement becomes bigger, we're definitely going to need the participation of more men. And I was so happy that there was I need to make a shout out. There was a gentleman that came through and saw how the event was being put together and how we were carrying the things ourselves, because at that point we were just all women. And he said, I know this looks like a women's event, but I'd like to support you. I'd like to help. And we said, oh, that is great. And his name was Mr. Kefas Musonda from Biogas. I'd like to say a warm thank you for stepping up and saying, okay, so he became our DJ, he became our go-to person at the event. He was helping us take the chairs. He was helping us with many different things that we needed a man's touch at the event, that needed, okay, we need to move chairs from here to here, we need to move the mirror from here to here, we need to make sure that the DJ, the music is playing adequately when we're making our national anthem, that he was there. So for me, who is a mother of a boy, I was so pleased that he was confident enough to put himself where there was 20 women and still have that masculine presence to him and say, okay, look, I'm going to play my role of support. That was amazing. And I'd like to say a big thank you to Mr. Kefas Musonda for your presence. It added so much value to the event. You filled a gap that we didn't even know was there. So I need to say a big thank you to you. This, you know, being present, don't feel you always have to be invited, right? You can just see and say, okay, I have a Chitenge outfit. Let me go and participate. Let me volunteer. Maybe you might not have the 350 or the 1,000 or the 2,000 that is needed to pay for the event. But what you can do is you can say, look, I want to participate and I want to volunteer. There's always, especially when doing events, there's always a big need for volunteers. There's always a need to make sure that, okay, this is what is needed to be done. So when you participate in an event, it's not always about, okay, I'm going to be an invited guest and I'll sit and this is what it will be. And I'd like to also make a shout out to Auntie Jennifer Nawa. She did our deco. We were very restricted in terms of budget, and since this is the power of reflection after an event, your first event, you will not make profit. In fact, you'll be lucky to not make a loss. For us, we made a little bit of a loss, but it wasn't a loss because now the buzz has been created that She Builds Africa next year will be bigger, will be at the same venue, because now the Urban Hotel has said they want to be an official partner of ours. So this is something that, the impact has been felt. The impact has been felt, and this is something that we're going to do over and over and over again, an annual event, and you are very welcome. Leave your babies at home. If you have babies, participate, come through. Know how you can learn how you can contribute. You can't help yourself if you're not willing to help others. So there's an importance to ensure that you're helping others and you're building a legacy. Okay, so Dr. Sunshine is here. She was a participant at the event, and like I was mentioning, that you can't do much without your parents. You see, for me, at the beginning of this call, I had my children who were making noise in the background. I'm sure she just remembers me that age still. She remembers me that age still, and coming up with such a successful event, I think still feels I saw, my mom isn't emotional, but I think I saw a tear or two in her eyes at the event. Just to say, oh no, they're doing it. This is real life.
You were so wonderful. These are the things that actually make you think that you are really doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. And, seeing the two of you pull up such an event was just so fantastic. I was like, wow, this is what we need. And I was just imagining we had, 30 of such young people just doing the things that they have been taught and duplicating. Then we're not even going to, to worry about anything. And we're going to be saying, oh, okay, there's the event, go and run it. And we pay you for running the event. And I think this is what we need to duplicate ourselves, and to also show impact of how mentorship works. Mentorship is not you doing the things all the time, but when you have impacted, you expect that people are going to do it. And I was so proud of you, coming from, that background, where you're actually saying, what is it that I can see that I have been part of producing? That was really something for me. It was just so fantastic. And I just give you kudos and just encourage you to be going and going and going. They say the sky is no longer the limit. Now it is what you're able to impact, what you're able to duplicate yourself. It can go on and on and on. And people are saying, whatever you do, no matter how small, no matter how you think it is irrelevant, people are seeing, and people are making things happen for you to just showcase, just to shine. And it's okay to shine. And a lot of people would be thinking, like when we were talking about the guest of honor, and I said, you know what, we have to pick people who always baffling you up, who always are on top of things, and who always are adding value from where they are seated. Because what, like Honor said, I wouldn't have known if she was not the guest of honor. The impact that she's making in the world, she's making such great things. And if young people from the organization that she runs, Zafaweb, and Comesa, could actually rise up and say, oh, this is what she's saying. It made us listen. I know I'm a trustee for Zafaweb, but I listened so much that I was thinking, in fact, we're going to have a very big conversation around it so that, we can see how we can be able to bring in more young women to showcase and to, to just get there, not to just complain, no, I don't have money. If you don't have money, what else can you do? So those are some of the things that background we should be able to actually encourage, because a lot of people say, no, I can't do this, so I can't go. No, go. Let you be, like volunteer that came through. It was such an amazing experience to see a volunteer coming in. And I was just thinking, if we had 10 young girls say, no, I don't have money, but I want to volunteer. I want to be the MC. I want to add value. I want to tell my story. The amazing stories for me, the takeaway was the amazing stories from the panel, just the way the event was, where not these kind of events where everybody just seeing somebody speaking on the podium and it ends there and then you go, it's as if you never even went. So you don't even feel the amount of money that you paid, has come back. But the way it was arranged, I'm sure everyone felt that they had paid for value. They got value out of it. So this is why it is so important to participate and get the value out of it. And it also calls for change. We've been saying, how can we change things? How can we make sure that we are changing this? And one big takeaway also on change, especially time management, was how, you rewarded someone who actually was the first to pay, was the first to, who was actually showing interest. That gave you encouragement, even if you wanted something to say, okay, no, I think we are failing. But just one person who is encouraging you, when should I do this? I have paid. That was something that really came out for me in arranging that. And also the guest of honor being on time. We said 12 hours and she was there. Everything started on time. I think for me, that is one takeaway that made me so good, because I'm a time freak and I want things to start on time. Even if there's one person, start the event, because that's the only time that we're going to see. So I'll leave you to, I just wanted to come in and just applaud you and say, this event really, let it be big, let it be huge. I remember when when I was president of BPW, when we did the succession, what did your mother leave you? What did your mother leave your mother and you and to the end of the line? We did 4 generations. I'm sure now we can be able to do 5 generations. You have to do it quick before the thing changes, before life changes. And I just give you kudos and just go. It doesn't matter whatever it is that you're doing. People are listening and people are seeing, and we just want to uplift you with Chimwemwe. You are so great together. Our back office and the front, that's what you need. Right brain, left brain together, make a great team. So kudos for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Before you go, I just wanted to take this opportunity to say a big thank you, ma'am. You always give us a checklist to say, okay, if you're going to do something, you have to do it right. So even as we were planning, I was like, okay, let me tell her when at least I've got some answers, because immediately that she'll say, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? So at the point when we finally said, okay, ma'am, this is what we are doing, I had at least 4 answers that I knew she would ask. And most of the time when you're doing something, sometimes you're doing it aloof. But when you have someone, not really an accountability partner, but when you have someone that is governing what it is that you're doing, it creates that need to ensure that you are upright, you're doing things correctly, you've assessed the impact that you're going to have. So I wanted to just say thank you, ma'am, for always supporting me. Even when the support is a stick, in the Bible it's written, don't spare the rod. Your child. Yeah, definitely. Because what that does is that even when you're doing things, even if your parents or your mother is not there, you are doing things in a way that is upright. You're doing things when other people are looking, they're like, oh, that's a powerhouse. Not knowing that you've got someone on your back saying, if you don't do it correctly, just don't do it. So that is something that I wanted to just mention before you go. That for me, that was also the biggest takeaway, is that when you lay the foundation correctly, it makes it easier for you to create impact for others, because then people are now seeing what your upbringing has done towards making you the person that you are. You don't just wake up and can speak in public. You don't just wake up and can do things. It's because your mother was deliberate to make sure that when you are speaking in a certain way where other people can hear, not just speaking and you're mumbling, So this is something which I wanted to just say, thank you so much. I can speak and people listen because of the way you were strict. You didn't want someone whining when they come to you. So I got a lot of people afterwards saying, do you MC events? And I was like, I mean, money doesn't fight. So if you want me to MC your event, I can. But just know that this came from Dr. Sunshine, always her wanting you to speak confidently, always her wanting you to speak in a way where even if the person is at the back of the room, even if you don't have a microphone, they can hear you. So thank you so much for that. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows where it's coming from. Everybody knows where it's coming from, yes. So that was the She Builds Africa event. Please bring your mothers, bring your daughters for the next event. And the Mindset Change Program, I always mention it, the Mindset Change Program. When you are going through the process, you don't feel it that, okay, you're going through the process. But when you come out on the end of it, that's when you realize to say, oh, I'm a very different version before I did the MCP program and after I did the MCP program. 2-3 years ago, I wouldn't be able to be confidently standing in front there and telling my story. But once I went through the MCP program, the process, and that's why she always says, it's not today you would start the MCP program and tomorrow you want a change. It doesn't. It's a process. It's taken me 3 years, 3 years of just constantly doing something, constantly baby steps, small steps every day. And I still don't have it correct. I still sometimes operate in crisis mode like today, but it's not become the norm, such that even when your mom sees you operating in crisis mode, she says, no, but it means there's something that has happened that's creating this. Not every day you're in crisis mode and they're like, if you're baba. No, it's not. That's not how you are. No, I no longer operate from crisis mode. So when things happen, it's easier for someone to step in and say, no, it's just because of the situation that has created this. Otherwise, now I'm Q1, Q2.
Today is Q1, but it's done. Yeah. You are Q2 all the time.
Yes, now it's done. Q1 is done, operating crisis mode. Now we are Q2 and we are moving on and we are planning for next year's event. And from the 3rd to the 5th of June, actually, if your life is like the way my life is looking today, if this is your everyday life, please get into the MCP program 3rd to 5th June. You look at her LinkedIn, Dr. Sunshine's LinkedIn, there's a flyer there. You must participate. Your life will change. You must participate. Because for me, this is strange that this is happening today. But most people, this is their lives every day. Every day, this is the way you're operating. Oh, there's this. No, you can make a change. Please participate from the 3rd to the 5th of June. You can contact us if you need to understand what it is that you need to do. There's different price packages. There's even going to be a boot camp that you can participate in, so that even at night we tell you what it is that you need to do to have a good night, so that in the morning you wake up correctly. You are welcome. Please participate. We look forward to to seeing you. Check her LinkedIn, Dr. Sunshine's LinkedIn page, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Okay. Do I still have 5 minutes?
No. You're over actually by 4 minutes.
Oh, okay.